Hello everybody, hope you all are doing good out there. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about patina. Those of us in the traditional knife world are pretty familiar with patina, especially if you're looking at certain case knives, because Case makes two steels that are commonly found on their knives. They're stainless steel and they're carbon steel. This knife would be a classic example of Case's stainless steel. See if I can get that to focus there. This is a 1978 Case sleeve board with mother of pearl handles. But this knife is in stainless steel. And it says it right on that tang stamp there. Most of the modern Case knives, they'll say stainless steel, and they'll do that by stamping an SS right on the blade somewhere. If we take this razor for an example, you'll see there it says USA, then it has the pattern number, and then it says SS. So this is a stainless steel knife. And the big thing about a stainless steel knife is no matter how much you use it or what you do with it, the blade is going to stay shiny like that. It's not going to tarnish. And that's probably the best way to describe it. Under special conditions, a stainless steel knife can get some rust on it, but it's very minimalized compared to a carbon steel knife. A lot of carbon steel knives, if you don't take care of them just right, they will rust badly. And these knives that we're looking at here on the table are all carbon steel knives. And so in this video, we're going to take a look at them, and I want to talk about how I feel about patina. Everybody has different opinions about patina. Some people like it, some people don't. But what patina is when you take a carbon steel blade and you use it to cut different kinds of foods, whether it be fruits like apples, peaches, strawberries, or whether it be meat like pork chops, chicken, such, even like mustard and ketchup. If something has acid in it, it can color the blade on a carbon steel knife. And that's why when you think back, for those of you who don't do as much with knives, if you think about older knives you used to see men carrying, the slip joints, you'll remember the blades were a lot of times not real shiny on them, but were darker. And that's because they were using what's known as carbon steel. Now, all these knives from Case that I have here on the table have carbon steel. And the first thing I want us to consider about these is there are two main ways that a knife ends up with patina. It either happens naturally, or it is what they call a forced patina. A forced patina is when somebody takes a knife and in some fashion they will cause a patina to form. Some people will do it by sticking in an apple or sticking it in a potato and letting it sit there for a while. I normally don't take that route. What I found works the best is to heat up some apple cider vinegar in the microwave till it's really hot, and then to let that blade stay in there for maybe 30 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on what needs to be done with the blade. And what that will do is it'll start boiling and put off these noxious fumes. Any of you out there who've done it know what I mean when I say noxious fumes. And then after that blade gets good and black, then I take and polish the blade. And the reason why you might do this is because patina is a protectant. The patina on a knife blade will help keep that knife blade from rusting, from getting pepper spots in it. It puts a layer between the steel and the outside forces like water, salt, or whatever it might be that would harm the knife. This knife right here was my grandpa, and this is the only knife I believe I've got with a forced patina on it. This knife was badly rusted, and so I cleaned it up. And I'm not planning on using this knife, but I wanted to put some protection on it, so I put a very light layer of patina on this knife, and then I cleaned it up real good. Now, I can buff that off anytime I should want to, but it's just a really light layer of patina. And then, of course, I polished the patina afterwards to keep it good and smooth. Here's another example. And this is what forced patina might look like. You can ignore the black dots and spots on it. That's from the rust that he had let build up on it. Nevertheless, that is a forced patina. And a lot of people will do that when they first get a knife, because the forced patina, some people like the way it looks. They may be doing it to protect the knife, as I did with this old Congress. Otherwise, they may just really like the way that it looks. And you can get that patina really dark. You can almost get it like a black color if you leave it in the vinegar long enough. The downside, though, to a first patina, in my opinion, is if you use the knife a lot, it's going to rub off, at least from my experience. From my experience, that patina will rub off if you use that knife a lot. And you'll have streaks and spots, like if you sharpen a pencil, it'll rub the patina off, from my experience. The other thing we got to remember is patina is ever changing. Your patina, if you're actually using your knife, will not stay the same. Anytime you cut an apple, it's going to look different. Anytime it touches any kind of acid like that, the patina is going to change. And so even if you put a nice, even first patina on the knife, if you take that knife out and actually use it within 2 or 3 weeks, the patina is not going to be even anymore. It will have started to take on a natural patina. It's ever changing. All these knives are examples of, well, except for this one. All these knives are examples of knives that have a natural patina on them. Both of these two don't have a patina because I don't use these knives. This is a case Trapper Lock 6154L, and this one is in carbon steel. Now, I got this one for a great deal, and this knife is quite valuable, and so I don't use this knife, and so it doesn't have a patina on it. I just try to keep this knife good and oiled. But this is what a carbon steel knife will look like when it's new. I'll show you another example. In this case, full-size copper lock. These are hard to find. They're rare, with the yellow handle and with the old chrome vanadium blades. And this one's never been used. I got the box and everything with this one. Either way, I got this one used again, and this one's a pretty valuable knife. And so I don't use it. I don't love the Wharncliffe blade on the full-size copper lock. I don't know why. I don't really like it much. But anyways, I don't use this one because it's pretty valuable, and I want to keep it in like new condition. I plan to probably someday trade it or sell it. But you can see again, we've got a CV blade here, and you can see it's got that mirror polish, and that is how your knife is going to come new, with this mirror polish. You'll be able to see CV right there on the bottom right of the tang. And so those are what the knives look like when they're new. Now, these here I have used. And so this is what they're going to look like after some use. We'll start with cases older still. They're older CV. This knife right here, as you can see, 10 dot, it's from 2020. Got this one used at a pawn shop, buffed it up, and used it a lot since then. I think I got it back in early 22 or late 21. You can see I've got a lot of patina on that blade, and it just looks great. And the reason I've got that patina is because I use this knife. I love to take my knife and use it for everyday tasks. You know, I love to eat an apple and cut it up with my knife. Same thing with a peach or even a sandwich. You know, sometimes you got to cut your sandwich in two. There you can see the CV still, but you can see how dark that blade is, how colored up it is. And that is what a natural patina will look like after it has had a little bit of time. Another one here is this Texas Jack. This is another one I got used at a pawn shop, and it really didn't have any patina on it, but it did have a few pepper spots. And I buffed it up real good and cleaned it up, and I've just been using the knife. And you can see here, we're shinier down here where the blade meets the, about where the blade meets the kick. But it's darker through the rest of the knife, and that's because I've been using this knife, and it's got a patina. Now, one thing I do want to say is a patina should not have a texture to it. It ought to be just completely smooth. If you didn't look at the knife and you felt the blade, you shouldn't be able to tell whether it's got a patina or not. If you can feel the patina, then it needs to be polished or cleaned, in my opinion. I don't want scales and growths on my blade. I don't want black goo coming off. That leads me to a story about my grandpa. He's got an 63032 Stockman, same frame as this. It's got the new CS steel in it. And anyways, he asked me to clean it up one day, and he brought it to me. And he said that when he would offer to help people cut their hot dogs, they would ask him not to. And he said they kept changing their mind, so he thought it might need cleaned up. And when I opened it up, it was so scaly, it was terrible. He had cut a hamburger. I guess it was a cheeseburger, and he'd cut that, and just folded the knife up and put it in his pocket. And of course, you know what that mustard and ketchup and those onions and that cheese and that meat and that hamburger is going to do. It's just going to patina that blade. And if you don't get that off, it will eat the blade up. You got to keep your knives clean. Carbon steel takes a little more care than other kinds of steels. I've got a short on my YouTube channel showing the before and after of cleaning that knife. It cleaned up good. But we don't want that. This right here is one of my favorite knives. This is the little yellow peanut. And this patina is from cutting a cheeseburger. But I wiped it off after I cut it. That's why that it's maintained. That's why it's good and smooth. And it's a great looking patina. That looks nice. This right here is called a whiskey bone mini trapper. These were really popular, and they still are. They're kind of hard to get. But this one I've used quite a bit. That's got some potato patina. I plant a lot of potatoes and grow them, and I've used this one before to chop them up. But this case is CV steel. Notice that it's a pretty smooth patina. It's pretty smooth. It's not extremely rocky. It's pretty smooth. This will be the last example of CV. Then I'm going to move on to the CS for a minute. Now you can see this blade is good and dark because, again, I used it for cutting up potatoes. That was the last thing I used it for that I can remember. But I use these for everything. But the last thing you cut is really going to affect what your patina looks like. It's ever changing. But the CV, from my experience, seemed to get a nice, even, dark gray color. Now, Case, a few years ago, switched from their CV steel to their CS steel. And you're going to notice, at least I've noticed, that the appearance of the patina has changed a speck since then. This right here is a CS case. The case is newer steel. And look at the patina on this blade. See how much darker it is and spottier? It just looks totally different. Now, I cut the same thing with this sodbuster that I cut with my peanut here. I cut a hamburger with each of these. I had ketchup, mustard, and onions and cheese on the cheeseburger. And so that would have been what was coloring up the blade. But notice how different the blades look. The carbon steel, in my experience, gets darker and has more colors in it. But the older CV steel is more even and is more of a gentle gray color. Now, there might be exceptions to that. I do want to show one possible exception, and that is my Sodbuster Jr. It's in carbon steel also. And you can see the patina on this one. I have not used this one to cut a sandwich, so it hasn't come in contact with mustard or ketchup. This is apples, onions. I think that was the last thing I cut with it, was apples and onions. And you can see it doesn't have the smooth patina from cutting like potatoes like this CV trapper does. The patina is spottier on the newer knives, but it's also darker and it has a lot more colors in it. You can't really see it on the camera, but I can see orange, yellow, blue, green in this patina as I move that blade around in the light. If I'm being honest, I like the way that the newer carbon steel patina is a little better than the older carbon steel. But yeah, to finish out here, what should you use to patina your knife? Well, the answer is you can use whatever you want to. I don't. I just use my knife like a pocket knife, and it gets a nice patina in the process. But things that I find really do a good job on the blade is peaches leave a nice dark gray color, apples leave a bluish tint, onions leave a yellowish tint. Meat can be all the way across the board. Everything from Spam. This is Spam. That's the last thing I cut with this one, I remember now. I cut some Spam with this one and cooked it. And that's what gave it this patina. But yeah, the different kinds of meats can give it different colors. You just got to get out there and try it. And your patina will be ever changing. But always remember, keep it clean. I take a sponge, and if I've had my knife into something that's given it a patina, I take and I scrub it down real good because I don't want to get any buildup on the blade. That blade ought to be as smooth and as polished as it can be. One of the cool things about the patina is when you sharpen the knife up and you've got that shiny, polished razor edge. Then you got that darker color on the handle. Y'all comment how you feel about patina out there. Um, Let me know. Do you like the older look of the CV steel or the look of the CS steel better? Can you not tell a difference? Is there a big difference? Which do you prefer? Do you like stainless better? Or how do you feel about patina? Y'all have a good day. Keep your knives sharp, and thank you for watching.